This one here.
Oh, yeah. The Cuphead.
Oh, Dean Takahashi, legendary.
I watched this yesterday a little bit. That was. I mean, how can you be a journalist for anything if you're this bad at this? Like,
I don't even play games that bad when I'm drunk.
Yeah.
And when I'm drunk, I'm like, really fucked up.
I mean, it's not even a question about this person being horrible at video games and at the same time being a video game journalist. This guy's problems reading, not playing video games. It's literally written on the screen what you have to
This
do.
is so good clip.
And he can't figure it out.
The description is also very good.
Yep. I mean, at least they're honest, you know.
Yeah.
Because this.
11 years later.
I wonder what the
Oh damn, so close.
I wasn't at Gamescom, you know, but you know, I mean at Gamescom, but do they have someone, you know, watching over you when you play the game?
Yeah, that's most of the time I went to developers. Developer itself, just chipping with like a closure area. Then you always have someone there to answer questions, stuff like that.
So I'm just wondering why didn't the developer roll that, you know, help him out?
Because he was a game speed game journalist, so it apparently is a pretty big one. You're a big game journalist.
Well, it actually depends. For example, in E3, when they push you into like the small rooms, you have like 15 tables, I don't know, like 30 setups. You have 30 minutes. Nobody's going to help you. It's just play and be gone. I mean,
during Borderlands 3 and Bandai Namco on this year, we had people watching us all the time and answering questions.
yeah, but you need to ask a question before they can answer it.
Yeah, but why didn't Mr. Takahashi then be like, yo, bro, I suck ass in video games. Help me, bro.
Not just video games, he actually said he's bad at platformers and side-scrolling action games.
But he was the only member of VentureBeat at Gamescom.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's like sending a deaf person to review an opera or something.
I remember when it was like first upload, it was just like Cuphead, 26 minutes of gameplay, but now even the title is changed like Dean's shameful 26 minutes of gameplay.
Yeah, but the thing is, they have now 1.7 million views. It was a good promotion for Cuphead, easy.
Yeah,
so
true.
In that regard, they were quite successful.
Yeah, I actually beat the game alone though, because Cuphead is an example of a game where playing multiplayer is actually harder than playing solo. Because in like multiplayer, both of you need to have perfect reactions on where, like, there's this dragon boss, for instance, and like there are clouds that scroll by and you have to like jump on them. And then there are like objects you have to parry to like keep going. But he only shoots out one projectile at a time, so both of you pretty much need to parry that same object at the same time, so you need to have perfect teamwork essentially.
Oh yeah.
So like playing alone is way easier because everything you fuck up, it's your own fault. Like in fighting games.
Yep. Actually, I can find it.
Alright, what's next?
Okay, next. Let's see. Next clip is another known one.
Oh yes, my favorite.
I've actually seen this one as well.
This is my favorite video of game journalism ever.
I do remember watching this the first time and thinking, what is going on? Because
I remember like watching and I was like, okay, Doom gameplay, nice. Like first 30 minutes, holy shit, I'm gonna watch this. And then I was greeted with what you're about to see.
With whatever this is. I mean, it was 2016. The PlayStation had been out for what? How long? A year.
PlayStation 4 came out in 2013.
Right, Jesus, I'm done. Holy fuck. Oh, I'm just getting old. either one.
Bro, you're like 20.
So the reason why we're watching these clips is because these are the ones that kind of started the
The
I don't
idea.
know, rumors
Yeah.
or whatever that game journalists are bad at video games. So these are quite legendary now, and
I like how the likes have been turned off, and I think comments are turned off over this video as well.
oh yeah, I think they have comments turned off here. Yeah,
Yeah. I'm not surprised.
Polygon almost has 1 million subscribers.
I think they even removed the person who played this game. Like usually they have like the name of the person who played this in the description, but
Not this time.
obviously, nope.
Nope, nobody's here. Okay, let's go to the battle.
Yeah, no, it's just the overall everything he does is just kind of feels
It's like I gave my dad a PS4 controller once to play video games, and like it's looking like that. But the difference is that that person gets paid to do it.
Yeah, exactly. The thing is, I have my friend who doesn't play video games at all. He held the fucking the PlayStation controller in his hand for the first time, and he wanted to play something, just have fun. And it's like, yeah, screw it, you can play Doom. Doom is fun for everyone, right? He was playing the game exactly the same way,
Yeah.
if not better. He was doing exactly the same stuff. It was like he was holding the controller and trying to press the buttons, right? But this guy, girl, whatever, it does, she, whatever, does it for a living. Like, he gets paid to do this. And, yeah, I mean, as I said, it's like sending a deaf person to review an opera, so.
Once we have watched few of these clips, then we're going to discuss about this shit, are they bad or not. So these are few, what the fuck are these called? Message boards, or what the fuck are people calling this shit?
Just forums.
Just forums, yeah, whatever. So there's a really good question here. Why are gaming journalists so bad at playing video games?
Honest.
It's a very honest question.
It's just a question, and he pretty much ends this year saying it's a common misconception, which of course we are about to talk. But here is also a good point that this guy, whatever his name is saying that the game journalists don't necessarily have to be gamers, much less skilled ones. They have to be able to review a game based on set criteria and their personal opinion. They may not even be playing.
I mean, it's true. It's a good point, actually.
Because game reviewing isn't really about making games or even knowing how to make games. It's just knowing what games are good, what games are bad, or how to evaluate them. Same criteria actually applies to any kind of critics. Even being a great movie critic doesn't have to be related to how
Someone who can see.
how you can even make the movies.
I mean, okay, yeah, I can agree on that because it's actually true that when you make a video game, it has to be accessible to everyone. It's a person who's holding the controller for the first time. So yeah, I guess it's true.
And then
But
that's another topic because I don't think video games have to be for everyone. Like Sekiro, for instance, raised a lot of discussion this year for being too hard, and a lot of people were like, I can't play this because blah blah blah, because I'm like scrub, and a lot of people were just like, get good, and that's about it. But there are actually people who are like legitimately disabled and like want to play video games, and that's another story. But like, not all games are for everyone. Like for instance, not everyone plays racing games, not everyone plays fighting games, not everyone plays those walking simulators per se. And that's it, like those games are not for me. I hate racing games. They're the most boring ass games ever, and I suck at them as well because driving in racing games is ass. But I enjoyed Forza Horizon 4 because it's more of an arcade racing game. Like there's realistic racing games like VRC or something like that.
Wasn't Forza really realistic?
It wasn't like it is more of a Need for Speed kind of game where you just customize your car
Really?
and drive around and do stuff. Like realistic games are like Project Cars and stuff like that.
Actually, but I
Some are Project Cars is a simulator.
Yeah, Project Cars is a simulator.
I thought Forza was really realistic as well.
Not really.
Maybe we're talking
It
about
was
some other
very-
game.
it was
Forza
very-
is kind of arcade.
Yeah, it was very easy to
Kind
copy
of,
there. Even I can have it.
VRC or VRC.
Oh yeah, that was.
Those are, yeah.
And the third rally, they are like in between. They are between the reality arcade simulation. They have like different game modes for, if you want to be as real or as real as possible. But with Project Cars is actually fully customizable if you have the hardware, like the correct driving wheels and stuff. Then it can be full time, real experience. But if you're playing with gamepad, it's with the regular gamepad, they are all just arcade.
Yeah, I mean,
games.
if you want, I mean.
Well, here is actually another review that I kind of enjoyed reading at one point, because this reviewer here, it is Emma Kent. I'm not surprised about the gender of the person, saying that Spyro is like a Dark Souls game. She actually compares Spyro to Dark Souls, saying it's too hard. And of course, you already got a lot of Twitter crap like everybody's getting nowadays, because it's Twitter. But she kind of has actually a point here, but I'm talking about that a little bit later. But yeah, Spyro is nowhere near what Dark Souls is. But I'm one of those people who actually think Dark Souls is not a hard game. But that's for a different time.
Roll through it, bro.
Because
honestly, I hate. I'm on the other side because I hate it. I mean, I didn't hate the game. I really liked Bloodborne, but I just couldn't play it. Maybe I just suck ass at video games, but at least I'm not a game journalist.
2 hours. Oh my, I feel tried.
there is one passage here. Something that could have also done with some tweaking is the game's difficulty, which seems to ricochet between too easy and almost impossible. In classic Spyro fashion, many of the grunt level enemies can be defeated with a simple fire blast or charge, while flying levels require pinpoint accuracy and speed, and the bosses, including that damn Toad, are frustratingly punishing. Rather than presenting a fair challenge, defeating Buzz felt like repetitive banging my head on a brick wall due to the limited hints given to guide the player. The breakneck shift in difficulty, meanwhile, felt like I'd suddenly been dropped into Dark Souls in the middle of a game of Tiddlywinks. Defeating this oversized Toad was more relief than a triumph, and unfortunately many of reignited bosses also fell prey to this pattern. Yeah, she kind of pretty much just out loud says she cannot play the game. I mean, my 4-year-old son finished all 3 Spyro games 100%.
Free.
And he's not even like a good video gamer. He's just a kid who's playing the games, and he was able to just finish the game. And I mean, if this is difficult for you, then there's actually always an aspect that people never think is a time. Me as a game journalist, I don't have time. So whenever something takes time, I always want to skip it, because time is money, and if I can't skip it, I'm wasting my time. So usually games like Dark Souls, they aren't really that difficult, they just need time. If you slow down in Dark Souls, it's really hard to lose. But if you're rushing, you're in speed, you want to finish the game like everything nowadays needs to be, then the game is almost impossible, because the faster you're trying to play, the faster you will die. And again, question: why are game journalists so bad at games? Well, they're not. Maybe. And of course, they're talking about Cuphead reviews here. And gaming journalists.
/gaming.
Gaming journalists are a joke these days. Here is this one.
Bro, edit. Thanks for the gold, kind stranger.
And
And this guy makes a very good point. They have a job and not 18 hours a day to get good.
Yep.
And that's the thing. They play hundreds of video games.
yeah, and when I actually counted the games I played this year, I played I think it was 357 games. So it's almost one new game each day.
Yep. So
And the games, their genres, I mean, they are literally every genre there is. You have to play puzzle games. From puzzle games, you're going to racing game. From racing game, you're going to VR games. Then you're playing mobile games, and that's it. You pretty much have like one day to play the game, and you want to play as fast, as much as possible. So you're hardly paying attention. Like, am I, how correctly I'm playing? Am I doing everything correct? You don't give a shit. You just want to reach as fast as possible, see as much story as possible, as much levels as possible, or everything. And I'm also the guy who always buys the shit to make things faster. And I'm playing like Ubisoft games, Assassin's Creed and stuff. I'm just buying the XP points. I'm not going to do the grinding shit. Never. Just 15 euros. I don't give a shit. I'm getting the XPs just to get the game done fast. Because the grinding part.
You're the fucking reason we have those kinds of microtransactions.
Yeah, and
exactly.
And
piece of shit.
And grinding nowadays the review copies actually come with the full stuff, so you get like these, stuff to skip the grinding and things. So this is why I don't really
send those. Yeah, with review
this is why you don't see like the reviews sometimes mentioning grind. It's because game journalists didn't do the grind.
When you see like some other more self-made reviews which aren't paid and usually those indie blogspot reviews kind of, then they mention the grind, and those are actually more trustworthy for the player because that is in the eyes of a consumer pretty much.
Yeah.
But we just get the game, we get it earlier, we get the boosts, and then we just oh yeah, the game wasn't hard at all. I was started at level 50 and
that's where these people actually make a good point that when someone's reviewing a game, they should review it as just a normal player who just buys the game and wants to play it. Of course, as someone who doesn't want to play fucking another 50 euros to get
that's what I do in my reviews, because I play all video games, and I tend to review the games that are in my genre of preference. I review Japanese video games, all JRPGs and stuff like that, and then when I play them through nicely. I don't usually use those boost items unless they're just I don't know. For instance, Atelier, you get those extra alchemy items. They don't help out much per se. They don't give you any levels or anything, but it's just there if you need a few extra bombs or something like that. Okay, but I play the game like I would normally do because I don't get paid per se. I get games, but I don't get paid monthly. It's not on my paycheck or something like that. So I play the game like a normal person. I beat the game and then I just write in the game what was good about it, what was bad about it, and stuff I wish that could be changed, stuff, and etc. That's it.
Yeah, in that regard, Margus is a hobby journalist, while I'm pretty much, I think, only full-time gaming journalist in all the Baltic states. They're literally, when me and some other companies that deal with games here, we try to think other people who are doing the shit. Nobody's doing it except me, and yeah, it's risky. You're kind of depending on a lot of shit that's not up to you, and that's why, for example, if I don't get the early review copy, I don't care about your game. But for example, if the game published yesterday and you want me to review your game, I have zero interest in reviewing your game. The game is old news now, and that's just it. Pretty much, the earlier I get the game, the more value it has to me, because I have exclusive rights in a way to create content. So I now have time to create content. I can create videos. I can, do whatever. Then I can freely play the game. For example, I got Resident Evil 2 a month earlier, so I played the game 4 times over. with every single character. I did all the difficulty levels. I did all the toffee challenges. I did everything that game had to do, and I made all the content, and I got like 1.5 million views from that game alone because I got it early. So if you give me your game, for example, 2 days early, I'm instantly looking what content can I do before the game is released. The moment the game is released, all content is dead because then the whole internet is,
Well, I got Monster Hunter World's Iceborne expansion like 2 days after it was released, so I like got into it a bit late, and then I found out that the copy was like on this copy. It was like a weird one. Like usually the Iceborne is an expansion of the game, and like you have to like install it like digitally because it's licensed essentially. It's downloaded to the game. Oops. And the review thing I was given was a disc, and it had it like on this, so my current save data did not work on it, and I was like, what the fuck? Do I actually have to play through the entire fucking main game again? The game has been out for 2 days already, the expansion. So essentially what I did was just like say fuck it, I bought the expansion myself and just carried on with my own save file. Because I have 2,000 hours in Monster Hunter World, and I would rather not lose that progress. Fuck that.
Yeah, the time is actually a main issue.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that, for example, at Gamescom, I had to play, for example, Ghost Recon Breakpoint again. So this was actually one of those videos that we got comments like, "What the fuck are you doing? Are you haven't played video game?" That kind of comments. And I was like, first of all, I don't play shooters at all. And if I do play shooters, then usually it's from start to beginning, like with Doom or Gears, so I know what's happening. With events like these, there is saying to you, oh, okay, this is about 35 hours into the game, you're level 45, you have 40 minutes now, go and play, and they give you like a paper with controls on it. That's it. Now I have 45 minutes to know the game that's 40 hours into the, gameplay. So I'm thrown into the middle of this shit. Now I'm like, okay, what the fuck buttons are doing here? Now I need to check buttons. I need to do everything fast, and it's a co-op game. So everybody's now going. They're waiting for me. Okay, fine. I need to go, and I'm literally don't know what button is shooting. So I'm like in the middle of action. Okay, is this button was shooting and stuff? And when my time is over, 45 minutes, I spent that 45 minutes just trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. And now the video is me just pretty much trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. And same thing goes with the Trials game. They were like, oh, okay, this is a new content for Trials game. So, again, this is like the DLC game is already done, it's extra difficulty, and now, okay, do this track. I don't know how this game works. Now I have to play, and of course I fail like 55 times before I do the jump.
The video was made very well on our channel.
Yeah, and
super pro gameplay.
and the thing is, nobody who's not into the Trials is going to watch the game. So people who watch the video are Trials players who know the game. So for them, obviously, this is shit gameplay. This is the same way, for example, how I watch people. For example, I watch IGN reporters playing Tekken. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? But they then need to understand, they're not fighting game players. They're not supposed to know other than the basic shit. So, and imagine you're going to event like E3, they give you Tekken. Tekken doesn't have tutorial. Even if you have 2 hours.
Still won't understand it.
Yeah, you still don't understand the game. They don't have a tutorial.
And then again, we played Random Fantasy Versus at Gamescom, and we had also only that control sheet essentially.
Yeah, small sheet. Okay, this button is light punch.
Ones like what the specials do, like this is rage projectile, blah blah stuff like that. But then again, like we are fighting game players, so we like know how the game works. Like you have buttons that do shit, like light, heavy, light, normal,
just
special, blocking, stuff like that, and we got actually decent gameplay from it, like actually good gameplay.
Yeah.
And then like as I said, trials video. I don't even remember how it is named on our channel. Like
I actually named it Pro Gameplay. I think I can actually show this shit. Okay, let's see.